Elsa, thanks for taking a few minutes for joining us today to talk about seed mixes. I'm joined by Elsa Gallagher, the Habitat Program Director at the Bee and Butterfly Habitat Fund. Elsa, can you talk a little bit about what you would look for when you're trying to choose a seed mix for pollinators?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Marcus. And I'm excited about seed mixes. So what we're always looking for when we develop a seed mix, we are looking for a wide diversity of species. We're looking for species that bloom early and species that bloom late, because that's really important in the life cycle of our pollinators. And those are kind of the times of the year where we don't have quite as many species available to us. And we always really try to do a what we call a high quality seed mix that, 40 species or more is what we try and develop when we develop a seed mix for pollinators specifically.
And then what are some of the differences between a general pollinator mix and perhaps a mix targeted specifically for monarchs?
Oh, sure. Well, of course, monarch butterflies need the common milkweed. Over 90% of the monarch butterfly caterpillars are raised on a common milkweed. Now, not a swamp milkweed or a butterfly milkweed, but common milkweed. So that's always a good one to include, though the others provide other value as well. And swamp milkweed provides quite a bit of value and is good for maybe a wetter kind of location. But we always want to include species that will, provide for the caterpillars as they come out. That's common milkweed. So it's always included at a good level on our seed mixes. But then you want lots of nectaring plants as well, especially like I talked about that late season. It's really important for those monarchs that are flying back down to Mexico to be able to have that nectar resources they need to get all the way back down. So having good species available and a diversity of different species at a good density. So kind of the density, diversity. We like to have, those different species in our mixes.
What are for farms that are thinking about installing some pollinator habitat? What are good areas on the farm that they could look for if they're considering on doing that?
Well, we always say that there's room on any farm for conservation and for habitat projects. And really, you don't have to put a whole ton of acres in to really get a good benefit for pollinators. So maybe you're looking at enhancing a filter strip or a buffer strip that you've already got or that you're planning on putting in. Those are really great. Somewhere around the farmstead, I don't know any farmer's wife or farmer who is a woman who would not appreciate these beautiful pollinator mixes right outside the front door. So those are always great places to put them. Road ditches can be good. It's just critical that you do some good site prep before you decide where you're going to put it.
Now, speaking of site prep, at Farmers for Monarchs, we've highlighted the Pollinator Habitat Establishment and Management Guide that the Bee and Butterfly Habitat Fund has put together. Really great resources. Can you talk a little bit about that and maybe any other resources that farmers could look at considering on that may be considering installing pollinator habitat?
Sure. For me, we developed that pollinator habitat establishment guide, and it's available for any landowner on our website. It's free. It's a big PDF, and it really gives you a good in-depth idea of how to create pollinator habitat on your property. And it goes through some resources that are available through us, through our Seed a Legacy program, where you can get the free seed and then consultation with biologists over the phone or via chat or anything like that. But another great resource is the Monarch Joint Ventures 1-800 line, where you can talk to a biologist there and they can kind of help you talk through the programs, because the landowner these days has the ability, especially a farmer, the ability to put his, those acres, those pollinator acres into a lot of federal programs. But sometimes that's time consuming and the paperwork seems to be a bit overwhelming at times. So like our Seed Legacy program is a real simple program where we just provide you with the free seed that you need to do your planting, and then the guidance to do the site prep, and then to do the management as you move that project further on down the road. So there's a lot of resources out there. I would say, reach out to us at the Bee and Butterfly Habitat Fund, reach out to Monarch Joint Ventures 1-800 line. There's a lot of resources for people that really are interested in doing pollinator habitat projects.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yep, I was
And
glad to be here
some great
today.
information. All right.
Great.
Take care.